Most heartfelt greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlethems. I eagerly welcome you to Sturgeon's most premier station, Dusklight Radio, hosted by yours truly, the yassified yet stoic, frazzled but focused and ferociously forlorn Everett J. Blackwell. Perhaps you know of us Blackwells. We host the yearly Sturgeon Thanksgiving event. Yes, sirree. All the Blackwells past, present, future, multiversal before Marvel ruined the term, and never were's all gathered under one roof. Jackal Blackwell brought the gas station sushi, even though we explained that turkey was the traditional food. He said this would suit our palates better. Tabitha Blackwell added a glowing rock to the table, making it some sort of conversational centerpiece, though it began undulating, and when I expressed I was starting to have a headache, she said, "Do not interrupt, Philistine." Clue served as the waiter, coat rack, sommelier, and live turkey handler. I'll never know how they chop up the pieces so evenly. Ethan spent much of his time fishing out on the porch with dear friend Jimmy, expressing a need to, quote, catch our main course, simply by hanging a hook off the veranda down into Sturgeon Central District, with nothing but an 8x10 of Jeff Keighley to attract some prey below. We didn't ask. Vin and TJ were found drunk at the bar some hours later. Cheddar, our resident Bernese mountain dog, was providing them with warmth, comfort, and extra slobbery booze. We did not tell them about the last part. Last but not least, Evelyn and Kyle were the family entertainment, juggling spines and revealing my future within the fragments that Evelyn failed to catch in her teeth. I think I'll save that information for later. More of a Christmas tale. From our family to yours, we hope you've had a wonderful Thanksgiving, should you celebrate. Remember, your family may not be normal. They may marry into celestial royalty with nefarious agendas for mankind, and conversations might get heated at times, but we leave all that at the door when we come together to feast. Anyway, I'm Dusklight's main and most fabulous half-dead host. My job at this fine radio station is to bring you some of the most twisted, interesting, and downright bizarre tales that I and my wonderful many-legged runners collect from the far corners of Sturgeon and beyond. Some of them will make you laugh, some will make you cry, and some of you will opt not to listen to the special announcement our resident janitor TJ has prepared at the end of this Dusklight introduction before the story starts. Now, if you do skip it, you are entering into a binding contract that allows him to color your soul a perfect shade of purple, which on the surface does seem fine, until you realize upon death it shuns you from your chosen paradise, and instead makes you a target bound for the Malum Gates, where the Oblong One sits. Ceaseless agony awaits you if you cannot parley with the Oblong for a soul of equal or greater value. All because you skipped TJ's announcement. So maybe don't skip it. In the theme of Thanksgiving, our story for this evening is a gathering of individuals in Sturgeon bound by something esoteric and forced to play a card game of truly deadly stakes. Secrets will be revealed, tempers will flare, and people will get heated over politics. Sounds like the average American Thanksgiving to me, so maybe skip this one if you find it hits a little too close to home. We don't need that argument spilling over into the comments section. Shark Tank is the 9th chapter in the ongoing experimental series set in Sturgeon by TJ Lee, and we hope if you do stick around, you enjoy the intensity as much as the pumpin' techno soundtrack by wonderful, multiple artists from Epidemic Sound. Tonight's tale is one full of truly remarkable talent, starring TJ Lee as Pluto and Chronos, spirit voices as Sun and Neptune, Mr. Creepypasta as Saturn, Autumn Ivy as Venus, Vidith as Mars and Jupiter, Shakyra Dunn as Mercury, and introducing 3 new vocal talents to the station, MarsYorke as Moon, Jimmy Horrors as Uranus, and Back to Ashes as Earth. Each will be linked with their respective channel in the description below, and we highly encourage you to check them out. Maybe let us know your thoughts in the comments too. Special thanks must be given first to Mandy Mo for the original beauteous image you see of me when you look at our page, to Sir Gorky for the brand new rendering of yours truly, and the truly accurately horrifying rendition of our humble studio, to Dark Somnium for being such a gracious yet terrifying sponsor of the channel, and lastly, our music is sourced and provided by Epidemic Sound with gracious thanks. If you enjoy these intros and want to see more, please ensure you've got notifications on and leave a comment for every video you encounter. With that, the sun has set and dusk has crawled into the studio once more. Whether you're working, prepping to sleep, or evading the formless void that will one day consume us all, Blackwell is here to soothe your ears and captivate your soul. Now, close your eyes and take a deep breath. The scene has been set and the light is on. It's time to walk towards it. Hi gang, TJ Lee here, the resident janitor of Dusklight Radio and the creator of this series, jumping in with a very quick announcement. Please don't skip it. I'll try and keep it short so you can get into your 2 hours of horror audio goodness. First of all, let's talk about this chapter. Now, if you have been brought over to this channel by the Dark Somnium or the algorithm has recommended you, welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here. This is a channel with dynamic voice acting, immersive sound design, and really good storytelling. However, I don't recommend starting here. This is the 9th chapter of my ongoing experimental series, so you won't know what's going on. And secondly, this is a very ugly chapter, in the sense that if you've been following along with the series, I have increasingly upped the ante with conversations around queerness and gender identity, because these are two things that are very dear to me as a non-binary queer person, especially with the state of our world at the moment. Now, I don't know if I'll write about this again after I'm done with this book. However, I've come this far and I'm going to continue. Shark Tank is those conversations turned up to 11. It is the peak in the book where those conversations reach a fever pitch, and it's unpleasant to listen to in places, which is the entire point. If that's something that either triggers you or it really kind of raises your ire and offends you, I recommend not listening to it. It is not worth getting emotionally invested to the point that it makes you so upset you have to go to the comments and start an argument or just upset yourself. Better off just tuning out. Now, if you can handle those conversations in the isolation of what they are, then I think you're going to have a great time. This is my tribute to Buckshot Roulette, to Inscription, to Saw, to Squid Game, and I'm very proud of the work that we've put into this. However, I did want to make sure that I said at the beginning of it, this is going to be the average Thanksgiving conversation if your parents are very conservative and you're very liberal, or vice versa, and you may not want to hear that. Now, that being said, the other thing to bring up really quickly, I am turning mid-rolls back on for the channel now. I experimented with it a couple of videos ago. If people went over to the Patreon, it didn't really work out in that way, although the Patreon is still something I'm very grateful for. Please check it out. There's where early videos go. You get exclusive stuff. However, the video revenue dropped by 2/3 not having mid-rolls on, and now I'm going to have to put them back on. However, they'll only be once every 20 to 30 minutes, so they don't interrupt your 2-hour videos. I really hope that's okay, and I do apologize for any inconvenience, but I really want to try and make something on these videos because they are 60 to 80 hours of work, and while I'm very proud of them, a return on investment is always helpful. That being said, it's 3 minutes of waffling down, and now you have a 2-hour video to enjoy. Please give your love to all the cast in the comments. They've done an amazing job, and this doesn't happen without them, and it doesn't happen without you. Without further ado, I humbly present to you Shark Tank. Chapter 9. Shark Tank. The rules. Shark Tank is a game that revolves around the callousness of your nature, meaning you must utilize your worst nature in order to survive. To be kind will not do you any favors here. After all, we are all in it for ourselves, are we not? Each player is given 1 card per round of a specific theme. The lowest ranked card amongst the group will be the Confessor. The highest will be the absolver. Whoever wins the round will get to decide the fate of the loser, with advisements from the other players swimming nearby should they choose. The winner can choose the fate of the player: feast, famine, or freedom. We learn what each of these entails as the game progresses. Only the winner can reveal who the loser is. Anyone else attempting to do so will be immediately removed from the game. Shark Tank is named for the inspiration of its creators, brothers Mulgrave P. Downey, who bore a deep fascination with sociology and marine life reproductive cycles, and Archibald O. Downey, who desired a fun way to better understand his peers through intense games during periods of great strife when exploring with his compatriots Oliver and Saunders. It was then updated by Archie's grandson, Atlas P. Downey, to, quote, reflect all sides of the modern trend of accountability, safeguarding, puritanism, and fetishistic desire for gossip and superiority in the terminally online space. In short, a way to navigate discourse on all sides. But this is no mere game around a campfire with friends or a holiday season indoors. This is a void, the maw of a sleeping god and the miasma of nothingness. The last place a sentient creature finds their conscious thoughts drifting before the sharp teeth of a predator clamps shut on their fragile carapace. This is where hope goes to die. From the void, a small tear opens up, and over half a dozen people awkwardly shuffle through, stumbling over each other as they come face to face with the tapestry of their Last Supper. A large circular table with a thick oaken rim and a dark purple mat surrounding the inner pit. A single light swaying from above with no feasible cable running through the remainder of the void. Places for each card outlined in black charcoal and a symbol aligning with each player's mask affixed to their face. For each player, a chair to match their gait. A gaming chair with ergonomic support, a pair of thrones with high arched backs, a humble stool, a refined business leather seat, a regal red leathered armchair, and an egg-shaped chair litter the table as each finds their location to sit. Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Sun, Moon, and Earth. Each player in a long black robe with a perfect circular orb adorned over their heads, covering their faces as the deck is shuffled by unseen hands.
This place... how did I come to be here? I see.
We are in the belly of the veritable beast, the innards of the sleeping, unknowable, malformed calamity itself. No light can escape from its jaws, nor pleas be heard upon its deaf ears. We are alone. We are returned to what we once were. Null.
That's bullshit. I'm sure it's just some kind of prank or weird social experiment. They'll pull the curtain down eventually and say, "Gotcha! Welcome to Punked," or something like that.
Yes, I agree. This is just an elaborate hoax. A way to test our mettle and our psyche. I'll play along. There's no way someone could be this cruel.
Well, if they are, I'll be ready to smash their teeth in the moment they smile at me.
Whatever it is, I'm in. Can't be any worse than what I've already been through.
Does it matter? There's no way out that I can see. Why even bother worrying about it?
Of course it matters. Want to know why I'm here and what they expect me to do? I don't deserve being treated like this. Do they not know who I am?
If you'll be so kind to direct your attention towards the center of the table, I believe we're about to find out.
Sure enough, a small tape player appears from the void and drops into the center of the table. Without prompting, it begins to play, a distorted voice crackling through the speaker.
Welcome, one and all, to the Shark Tank. You were chosen with specific reasons in mind.
Those of which will become clear the more you play. The rules are simple. You will draw one card for every themed round. The player with the lowest card will confess their sins, and the player with the highest card will be responsible for listening and absolving them. They can choose feast, famine, or freedom, with a little help from the other sharks if they so choose. What do these choices do? You'll see. But remember, Being kind does you no favors here. The world is not interested in that, nor is it interested in timidity. It wants the truth. It wants justice. It wants purity in all forms. Every round must have an outcome, no exceptions. Failure to do so within the allotted decision time limit will result in a double expulsion. There is an uncomfortable air as the players take their seats, seemingly drawn to their chosen furniture and attempting in vain to sink into them like the comforts of home. But it has the same feeling of trying to relax when an unfamiliar presence is hovering around the home, or maybe even haunting it, just out of earshot and therefore out of the safety net. Alien, unsettling, unwelcome. They try to get settled as the broadcast continues. Sharks eat their siblings in utero until there is only one left. A true survival of the fittest in nature. You will go through the same hell in order to be reborn anew. The game starts now. Your first round is the food chain.
A mechanism in the table rotates the cards and spits them towards the players one by one until every player is in possession of one. The bright lights switch to a neon glow and a gentle hum permeates the imposing atmosphere as they begin.
You cannot be serious. Why was I brought here? I did nothing wrong. I followed the rules and did as I was told. Why would I be punished here like a criminal? Like one of them.
An ear-splitting shriek leaves Uranus's mouth as something unseen begins assaulting him from within, hands gripping the sides of the mask until he becomes still, twitching.
Conversation before showing your cards is forbidden. Only once the winner and loser have been declared and we enter confessional can conversation begin.
The silence is palpable, thick and tense. A fog of contempt rolls in as each player declares their card, silently, purposefully, and with trepidation.
The sun picks the Komodo dragon, an apex predator unrivaled on its native island. No other predators to fight with. Elite, but isolated. A relic of a bygone age that continues to erode all it touches. 7 out of 10. The moon picks the trapdoor spider, an ingenious builder burrowed deep into the earth and waiting for the slightest movement to strike. Opportunistic but small, yet it knows its place and as such is only hunted by something more tenacious than itself. 3 out of 10. Earth picks the owl, nocturnal hunters with unparalleled sight and hearing. They never make a sound when they swoop in for their prey, but there's always something bigger. Always. 5 out of 10. Neptune picks the great white shark. Hungry. Always hungry. Never stop swimming. Never stop moving. Never stop or you die. Nothing can stop you so long as you keep on moving. 9 out of 10. Mars picks the polar bear. Another unrivaled apex hunter, but a starving one. A dwindling one. It fights against the enclosing walls until it is either crushed to death or forced to hunt easier prey. It will die out before long, but it will not die at the hands of another predator. 8 out of 10. Mercury picks the tardigrade. Water bears that can withstand virtually anything, the crushing weight of gravity or societal expectations to the vacuum of space and the existential fear of the unknown road that death leads us all down. Not high on the chain by any means, but survivalists all the same. 2 out of 10. Pluto picks the emperor penguin. One of the most dedicated hunter-gatherers in the wild, fiercely loyal and unbelievably motivated. These creatures speak to our very souls, but often get lost in the miasma of the deep blue and devoured by hungrier, faster, and more ambitious predators. 5 out of 10. Jupiter picks mankind, the hunter to end all hunters. Everything this intelligent beast touches falls under its purview eventually. Ambition is boundless, as is the lust for violence and control. Voracious, ingenious, unkind. 10 out of 10. Saturn and Venus pick the vulture. Remarkable creatures that can give life and feed off of it. These birds know when the end is coming for their potential prey, sustain themselves on their rotting corpses, and provide their own young with that same fetid flesh. Life is as cruel as it is beautiful. 6 out of 10. Uranus picks the parasite. The lowest of the low, survives solely by leeching off of its host until disease, discomfort, or death dislodges it. Disgusting, filthy, and loathsome creatures. They do not deserve the hand that feeds them, nor the host that provides for them. 1 out of 10.
There is a long pause as the cards are read out by the hidden host, and once they were finished, they announced the end of the round.
Round 1 is over. Our winner is Jupiter with mankind, and our loser is Uranus with the parasite. Now we move to the confessional. Uranus, you have the floor to confess your deepest sin, and, in doing so, give your future over to Jupiter's hands. Our other players, naturally, will be listening in and may cast advice to Jupiter. So, if I were you, I'd ensure I was honest and forthcoming. Because once your confession is up, you won't get a second chance. We don't do those here in the Shark Tank.
The lights switch off, and a pair of red spotlights illuminate Jupiter and Uranus. The rest of the players kept in a blue hue. A timer appeared over the board. 5 minutes.
What do I even... This is madness. Utter madness. I'm not supposed to be here. I should be at home with my mistress and preparing for an interview. It was going to be my big break. A stepping stone to get out of my current job and onto the talk show circuit. How did it come to this? I was told if I kept on doing what they asked, I'd be set for life. Help me. Please.
Uranus looks around the table at the other players. They simply stare back, the masks not allowing for any emotion to sift through. Jupiter sits opposite, their body language stoic as they lean forward.
You have 4 minutes, Uranus. Is this how you wish to spend it? Complaining? We're all in the same purgatory as you. If you don't tell me anything, I'm not going to save you. You'll be dead weight in a game designed to drop as much of it as possible.
Uranus panicked at this, their whole upper body shaking uncontrollably as they tried to get the words out.
I am not like you. I'm special, damn it. I'm supposed to move on to greater things. I can't let it end here like this. My life end here? I have things to do. Things to look forward to.
And like everyone else, you're faced with your immediate mortality, and all that stops mattering. We all go to bed one day, excited for the events of our future, and one day, we all run the risk that we don't wake up. As I said, purgatory. 3.5 minutes. Confess.
The group look between the two, utterly fixated on this exchange of calm stoicism versus existential dread as it develops. Uranus takes a moment before speaking again.
And if I confess, you'll save me.
Jupiter doesn't reply. None of them do. They simply stare a hole into Uranus. The clock ticks to 3 minutes as they finally speak once more.
I'm a journalist. Was a journalist. Now I'm a television anchor. But one that largely gets their notes done by interns and is paid to sit there and look nice alongside my co-host. Our station is managed by a media conglomerate that is, shall we say, not friendly to bleeding hearts and those who want to enact change. What side you're on doesn't matter. Never has. They love to get the two riled up and fighting because it's easier to feed the week's events in different narratives. Sure, you'll have your disagreements, but it's multiplied by 100 to sell stories and pad the pockets of politicians and grifters. Always has been.
Uranus takes a breath. It's disquieting, quivered, and full of anxiety.
Every few years we get something new to either fight for or rally against. If you follow the culture wars, you'll know it's trans people. Want to know how good we are at our jobs? Half a century ago, it was largely considered a taboo. A sin and immoral to be gay. Illegal in half of the modern world and punishable by death in a third. Now, we have the survivors of those times and their descendants fighting against their own goddamn siblings under the Pride banner. People think it's just one group of another type of person who runs the media too. Again, a manufactured threat. Keep them divided. Keep them hateful. But with that, we're caught up.
The clock continues to count down. 2 minutes.
You all watch the news or hear about it from someone who makes a living commenting on it. So you're all familiar with the antlion. Another serial killing psychopath we gave a cool name to. Fuck is wrong with us? Well, this little cretin captures, tortures, and in some cases eats his victims. All queer, all trans. Folks say he tries to convert them and when unsuccessful, takes a pound of flesh. Fuck if I know how or why, but my bosses love the guy. So much so they wanted to ensure he got better at what he did. So they paid me to inform the public on the types of victims he went after, how he did it, and to speculate on why for all of Sturgeon to hear. 38 million people right at our fingertips. Can you imagine the power? They certainly could. So when the last missing person came from a rich family and we were explicitly told not to say anything, we just ignored it. Spiced it up by dead naming the victim too. Knew it'd get clicks and circulation. And boy did it. Conservative outlets lauded us for our bravery against the woke mind virus. There's a phrase that'll die on the hill in 10 years. And liberal outlets campaigned to have us cancelled. All the while the search for that dough gets murkier and murkier.
1 minute left on the clock. The atmosphere is tense.
I confess that I took a payout from our sponsor, the Inner Sanctum, and my bosses to knowingly stir the pot on public sentiment towards existing and potential victims of the antlion, because division serves to make us money. In truth, I find what the antlion does to be abhorrent and disgusting. But I've got a fucking mortgage to pay, and that sentiment does not feed me or my family. I'll live with this regret for the rest of my days.
The room stirs, and there are mixed reactions, but nobody says anything as they turn their heads to Jupiter, the clock running out. As the counter hits 0, the smooth yellow numbers rise in red and 3 words hang beneath it. Feast, famine, freedom.
Your confession has been heard, Uranus. I think I speak for all of us when I say your fate is not in doubt whatsoever. I guess we'll see what the future may hold for all of us.
Jupiter raises a hand and taps the word feast in front of them, the timer stopping at 15 seconds out of a possible 60, and all lights, save for the one on Uranus, go out.
No! Please! I'm sorry. If I hadn't have done it, someone else would have. There's always someone willing to do the dirty work, to sell their soul and step on someone else to make a profit.
Maybe so, but it's you sat in that chair, not them. The decision has been made.
Hands from the darkness pull at Uranus, some pinning him to the table as others pull violently and rip off his mask, revealing the face of the television presenter of the Sturgeon Nexus, Trent Menlo. his eyes stained with tears and his perfect pearly white teeth locked in a grimace as the hands hold his head in place for a moment before he is forcefully pulled back from the chair, his distant screams punctuated by wet slapping sounds and the guttural moans of pain as snaps join the discordant suffering he was experiencing. With one final ear-splitting shriek, a great puncture is heard, and a spray of blood erupts from the void and coats the section of the table where its doomed player once sat. All that's left of him now are his hands, still fastened to the edge of the table at the stumps.
With that unpleasantness out of the way, allow me to introduce myself properly. My name is Chronos, and I will be your host for this evening. You may have a 3-minute coffee break to dissect what you just witnessed. Cigarettes, alcohol, and other substances are available should you require them. Simply place your order on the screen in front of you. Don't worry, we won't judge.
The host disappears, a timer in their absence as some members hastily enter their options before turning their attention to the still warm body parts of their former competitor strewn across the floor like a slaughterhouse tour.
This is utterly barbaric. Is this some kind of terrorist cell? A new psychological torture method designed to break the enemy down?
Pluto tentatively walks over to one of the hands and picks it up, still dripping warm blood on the floor, and inspects it before hurling it towards Mars, who instantly shrieks and bats it away as if it were a spider.
Most definitely real, most definitely dead. A hand with no operator, a pair with no mind to give them purpose. When we are young, our hands aren't just hands. They are akin to proboscis, a way to explore the world around us and interact with it on an almost intimate level. We grow, their functions change to the basic biological imperatives, but beyond that, they give way to silent expression and a doorway to the artistic. We see here a pair that were denied that purpose in life, and as a result of their owner's own behaviors, have been cast away.
Does anyone know what the fuck this one just said? Cause I just heard a whole lot of nothing, son. You don't spend time around people much, do you?
No, precisely because of people like you. Boorish, aggressive, unkind. It is not people I actively disdain. It is the fact that with every setting sun, people like you are becoming the norm.
Mars stands up to full height and takes a step towards Pluto, but upon his foot touching the hand, thinks better of it. He deflates, his chest contracts, and his constitution falters. Like most men driven by anger and ego, he deflates at nothing more than a slight stumbling block of logic.
Gentlemen, might I remind you that we are already in a game of life and death? Why hasten the Reaper's job for him? We know this to be real. We know the rules, and we know what links us all. Sins to confess. Admit it publicly now, or hold your peace. That is your prerogative until your number is called. But it is why we are here.
The clock ticks down to the final 90 seconds as Earth lights a cigar which materialized on his section of the table, taking a deep inhale and closing his eyes.
Is there a particular reason some of you have been more quiet than others?
Neptune looks around the room, fixating their gaze on the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and Saturn. 60 seconds.
I've been mostly thinking about a way out of here. Looking at the room and our surroundings. Not a single star in the sky. Don't you think that's strange?
I don't think we're outside, or anywhere that showcases the heavens above, so no, I don't.
Well, to each their own, I guess. We all choose our nightmares.
The sun begins musing and humming as they continue to stare absent-minded around the room, the moon shifting uncomfortably.
I'm simply trying not to implicate myself or get too attached. This is a life or death game and we're all against each other after all. Why be friendly when you can end up like that? The
moon points to the hands and Pluto, still examining the stumps. the disconnect of human to corpse seemingly easy for them, but not so for the moon. Neptune shrugs and directs their attention to the only other silent participants. Saturn and Venus look to each other before speaking, but the timer runs out.
Well, I hope you all used that time wisely, got your highs or your lows, and strapped in for round 2.
The cards are dispensed from the table as the lights once again dim to an iridescent blue, some shapes moving within the shadows. It's almost akin to a lava lamp, but the attention is quickly diverted back to the cards at hand. With varying levels of confidence and composure, the cards are revealed.
Natural disasters. Jupiter picks landslides. As far as disasters go, these are middle of the road, which sure is a statement when discussing loss of habitat and life, isn't it? Still, our compelling need to rank and codify everything means we have to do so here, and the lovely folks at home will still enjoy it as a concept, not as an action. Mother Gaia sheds some of her skin and sends it toppling down hills, mountaintops, and ensures it crushes all in its wake, even turning it into avalanches or mudslides depending on the weather. One thing is for certain, it'll bury your secrets. Oh yes. Yes, it will bury them. 3 out of 10. Mars. Volcanic eruption. Did you know that there are 20 supervolcanoes in the world, and you only need one of them to effectively destroy life on Earth? It's true. How do we know? It's happened before. Imagine that. A beast among beasts, just watching as smaller behemoths take center stage for their disruptive moments. Clouds of ash and towns of magma. Meanwhile, they wait. For millions of years they wait. For when these giants emerge and their rage is released, the very foundations will shake in fear. 6 out of 10. Pluto picks drought. When all the food runs out and the water dries up, what do you suppose people will do? I'll tell you. They will eat each other and kill their fellow man for the water they hold. It is in our nature to scrape, claw, and bite for what we need, want, and have. The dead pile up, and we still continue to turn the cheek, hide in our hovels and hoard our water, hoping someone doesn't come knocking for their share. It's not always the drought that kills you. It's what it does to your neighbor. 7 out of 10. Earth picks wildfire. Many things get taken in the flames. Natural beauty, frightened creatures doing their best to shield their young from the pillar of fire and hate surrounding them. Homes and monuments all fall to the great conflagration. You can try your best to put out the fire, but it is best to starve a flame of its anger, not feed it. You know this now, but if only you'd known back then. 4 out of 10. Neptune picks flood. The water takes everything back, eventually. The tsunami is feared for its great walls of impenetrable waves on the horizon, preparing to smash and drown all in its wake. But they forget that water is patient. It is malicious in its quest for revenge, and it has no issue dragging you down slowly. So it waits. It pushes inside the home like an uninvited guest and slowly takes up inch after inch until it snuffs you out in your own safe space or on the last vestige of hope, your roof. Water is patient and hides within it such deep beasts the human mind simply cannot comprehend. What are you hiding, I wonder? 9 out of 10. The moon picks eclipse. In ancient times, people interpreted these rare events as divine signs for their deity of choice. They slaughtered innumerable people until they or their god felt satisfied. The modern sensibilities would lead us to believe this is no longer the case. But for every charlatan in the world, there is a rube waiting to be sold the concept and betray everything they loved for the promise of infinity. 1 out of 10. Venus and Saturn pick earthquake. The very ground beneath our feet erupting, cracking, and swallowing us whole as every facet of our homes comes crashing down around us is pretty terrifying, isn't it? Imagine, if you will, your very home becoming a tomb of memories for the life you once had. All happiness eroded away with time and trauma. The very safety net you had within callously cut because the thing you gave life to decreed it so. Why? Because life isn't fair. There is nothing you can do in the moment, only after it when sifting through the wreckage. No happy endings here. 8 out of 10. Mercury picks tornado. You look outside and see a small whirlwind in the distance. It's at the very least a 30-minute drive from you, but through the benefit of the flat plains ahead, you can see clear to the next town. You smile and think nothing more. It's going in the opposite direction, and these things never really come your way. You forget about it until you hear a crack outside. With shaking hands, you open the door as the very breath in your lungs is ripped from you. It is so large it blocks out everything, so loud it bursts your eardrums, so utterly destructive that there is nothing that you can do but wait for it to devour you. You let your guard down, you foolish person. They will find you mangled in a ditch tomorrow. Another senseless victim. 5 out of 10. The sun picks global warming. It's getting hotter out there. The bees are disappearing. There is no planet B. Every naysayer is either dead or wishes they were. You are sat staring at the stars, wondering how this all came to be. The heat is rising, and it won't stop. 10 out of 10. Round 2 has concluded. The loser is the moon with eclipse, and the winner is the sun with global warming. You have 3 minutes for your confession, Moon. Let the shark tank commence.
The lights switch to red and the shapes coalesce in the inky blackness as it swings around the room, jostling for position and dancing to the heartbeats of the tense guests.
This doesn't have to go down this way. We can start over.
No, we can't. Confess.
Moon stares for a moment as the clock ticks down.
You know who I am?
I do. Confess.
Moon looks back at her card, checks it, and looks back to the sun. Though we cannot see her face, incredulity is within her words.
Why would you... Do you not love me?
I did. Now, please, confess.
The clock ticks away. 2 minutes left. Moon's entire body trembles as she begins.
I was married once upon a time. Stupid, really. We are young and eloped as both a dare and the throes of an infatuation. But it gave me insight into my wife's difficult situation, especially with their siblings. I was supportive during the final stages of the tumult in the house. I defended them vehemently online, though it hurt my brand and got me targeted as part of a hate campaign more than once. But after 2 years of this situation never ending, and my wife unable to move on.
Moon stifles a sob and takes a moment to breathe before looking at the sun directly.
I was approached by someone who understood my plight. I kept a private blog where I'd occasionally share tidbits of what was going on to my socials. They found them and they sympathized. Not sure how, since it wasn't exactly popular, but they said if I did as they asked, provided certain info to the doctors at the inner sanctum about my wife and their sibling. They'd pay me enough money to leave her. Leave Dondella and start over. Even got me a nifty identity change after the marriage was annulled. All I had to do was pass that info over and cut contact.
And it was easy, I take it?
Moon attempts to move around the table to Sun, but hesitates as she puts a hand up.
Don't. How dare you?
I always loved you. I still do. It was all too much, that's all. But we can still move past this. You can join me.
60 seconds.
You sold your wife and her family out, and you want her back because she caught you red-handed? Disgraceful.
Cowardly.
Unconscionable.
I don't care what any of you have to say. Only what she does. You have my life in your hands once again, but you always had my heart. So, what will it be?
The sun is practically vibrating in her seat, and on first glance, one could mistake it for an overwhelming emotional moment of reconciliation. But this is not a happy place.
You are the thing that dwelled in the stars, the unseeable beast in the deepest void that eats and eats without giving back. The light stealer that made every day of mine in that hellscape even gloomier. You took my life, and you wish to take my autonomy. Fuck you. You want that life without me so badly, I release you unto it.
The timer runs out as famine appears. All lights go out save for the one above Moon's chair, who is still reaching for Sun and pleading as her mask cracks to reveal the face of Minerva Gahart, now known as Misty Torelli, as she is pulled from her seat by unseen hands, her body growing limp before being tossed into a portal with a single building in the countryside, surrounded by twinkling stars. A hell of her own making.
Where does famine lead? Nobody knows, but it's a touch better than feast and a gulf away from freedom. Nevertheless, we continue with round 3.
Again, the cards are dispensed, and again the lights make that eerie switch from crimson red to oceanic blue, the shapes remaining in the absence of light and seemingly becoming faster the more you focus on them.
This next round will be very telling. Few humans wish to venture into its realm, and we know more about the stars above than much of what this location contains. It holds many secrets and gives none back. Let us begin with round 3, Creatures of the Deep.
So the round continues. The cards are dispensed, and the body language continues to wilt away as the remaining players see their futures laid before them.
The sun picks the White Margin Stargazer. All that time watching, waiting, wishing, sat there only gazing upwards at the deep blue, each twinkling light exciting your very bones until the poison barbs break through and pierce whatever dares to block your view, no matter who it is. 2 out of 10. Jupiter picks Colossal Squid. Every culture has a tale about you. Some say you're as large as 3 admiral ships put together, others that of a small island. One thing is certain. You drag unsuspecting men to their graves if they get close. Not just fish, not just predators. Men. Those that survive tell tall tales of you, and nobody knows if they're true. But you leave scars on even the biggest creatures in the sea. Nobody forgets you, even if they know so little of you. 9 out of 10. Earth picks Blue Whale. Old. Impossibly so by modern standards. But having so much experience and lingering so long comes with just as much pain as it does wisdom. How much have you lost on your long sojourn across the Big Blue? How long was that heartache? Do you even remember it? Your memory is vast, but your wisdom has its limits. One day, you will have the option to sink into the depths or go to the beaches. Which will you choose? 5 out of 10. Venus and Saturn pick box jellyfish and lion's mane. Thoughtless, heartless, spineless predators. You fuck, you eat, you live, and you die. Should anything get in your way, you simply wrap your barbs around it and shock it until it stops moving, until it ceases to resist. Nobody suspects you. Nobody needs to worry about you, for you are easy to avoid. It is only when we step into your world that we know true fear. 7 out of 10. Pluto picks coffin fish. Solitary, defensive, calculated. Should anything dare come close, you catch, puncture, and defend all at once. You can showcase your skills, yes, but are they all just for show? Someday you will let your guard down. Someone will float by, and you will match your namesake. 3 out of 10. Mercury picks Sloane's viperfish. Well now, aren't you something? From a distance, an unsuspecting prey is brought in by the lights, the charm, the niceties. But once they get close and see you for what you truly are, it's already too late. A poor man's anglerfish and not nearly as talented. You are still a feared deep-sea predator, so long as you remember, there's always bigger fish in the ocean. 6 out of 10. Mars picks the orca. You thought you'd get the shark, didn't you? Well, sorry to disappoint, but you are just that little bit more coordinated in your homicide, more tactile in your violence, more organized with your contemporaries when it comes to mob murder. Oh, yes. Yes, your deeds have not gone unnoticed. The whole ocean fears you and your like-minded kin. But remember, even the apex predators can be taken down. All that needs to be done is a little push towards land, and you're at the mercy of nature. Just keep swimming. 9 out of 10. Neptune picks the anglerfish. Lurking within the crushing, blinding depths, luring in its prey with false hope before snuffing it all out. Only seen when it wishes to be. Only the unseen devour it. The only thing to eat an anglerfish is another anglerfish. Or perhaps 10 out of 10. With that, round 3 comes to an end. Your winner is Neptune with the anglerfish, and your loser is the Sun with Stargazer. You have 3 minutes for your confession. Let the Shark Tank commence once more.
Crimson returns. The shapes dance and jostle for position. We know what this means.
I knew I couldn't run from this forever. After that display in the last round, I'm in no position to clutch my pearls.
Are you ready to confess?
I was always ready. I was ready from the moment I made the error, and I have carried it with me ever since. How many years has it been? 3? 4?
3 years, 8 months, 1 week, 22 days.
Of course you'd know. How could you forget?
Time is all I have. Confess.
I remember the night we had the argument. Everyone in the room was staring at us with these wide eyes, absolute horror and fear. Not just at what we were saying, but the way it seemed to bend the very foundations of the house around us. They were scared of it. No, they were scared of you. Things got heated. You turned to me, and I will never forget the look in your eyes. A look I have known since the day I was born and has haunted my every blink since. A look of desperation. You told me to tell them I know, that I have seen what you've seen. I knew, I had seen, but I met their gazes and I just froze. I remember looking back to you and the last light in your eyes began to go out. I felt a piece of myself die in that moment, you know.
The clock ticks away. 2 minutes.
Yet you still told them I was insane. Making it up. You threw me to the wolves so you could eat another meal and stay safe in their shelter. You killed me.
And not a day has gone by that I don't regret that. But I did something even worse. Something I'm not sure you even know about, but I will gladly face the feast if it means my conscience is cleared.
Jupiter mumbles something, but Neptune puts a hand up, leaning forward. 90 seconds.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
The night you were taken, you thought it was planned. That some unsightly individuals took you away from the home under the guise of a plan by the rest of us. But that wasn't the case. We hadn't even made a decision. Someone else had been watching us for a few nights. I know you sensed it too, but after the incident, you never spoke to me. I felt them loom over me more than once in the nights leading up to the day you left. The smell of rot, the flies buzzing around, the ugliness of their breathing. I hated it. But they didn't take me. They whispered something to me before moving to your bed, knocking you out, and disappearing into the night.
45 seconds. The crimson light is practically pulsating as the others lean forward.
Lie to them, or I will come for you, was all he said. But I felt the malice and hunger in his voice. I was so scared, you have to understand.
30 seconds.
When they asked me what happened, I told them I didn't know. That I suspected you were taken in the night, but no idea by who. That maybe you ran away, but I stressed it wasn't likely. We searched so hard for you before finding out where you were. We waited, but
15 seconds.
That was the last time I saw you. And I know that we are meant to be brutal in this, both in confession and in execution, so I will not ask you to be lenient or kind. I only ask you to hear me, and one day, forgive me.
A fever pitch as the clock counts down to 0.
I will always love you. You are me, I am you, we are twins. I do unto you as I would do unto myself.
Freedom appears above the screen and the lights glow a faint magenta. The sun's mask cracks and falls away as the tear-stained face of Lucinda Gahart stares ahead in disbelief. She can barely say anything, but hold back pain-racked sobs as gentle hands lead her to a small portal with an unknown destination, helping her through as the light is snuffed out and 2 words replace the aforementioned freedom. Coffee break.
We only know that which we don't know is dangerous and best left in the dark. It's too late for reconciliation, for realization and repentance. Do not waste your words when there are only so few we each get.
My, takes quite a bit of restraint for you to realize that. Are you quite well, Sir Saturn?
We have had enough time to think on our actions, our sins. We know full well it is our doing that we're all gathered here. The blame and the blood lay at our feet. I can gussy it up however I like, but it's a fucking mess.
How is it your fault? How could it possibly be any of our faults? We're just people dragged in from our homes for this sick little jigsaw-like game.
It's terrorism. Those dirty radicals want to take family values and ensure they never see the light of day, damaging free speakers and free thinkers like me in the process.
Dude, no, it's not radical leftists. You can't just blame things you're frightened of on those you don't like without proof.
Oh no? I take it you heard what happened to Professor Coleman and her subordinate Rawlins. Or what about the incident with Dr. Faust? critical thinkers suffering terrible fates for daring to challenge basic principles.
You know how many queer people are murdered each year, Mars?
Oh, here we go, pushing your agenda onto us. Why can't you people just...
No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to run your fucking mouth and then play victim. You and all your little critical thinking friends left to play the playground bully game, and it's not flying here. You post all this hateful shit under the guise of humor, or that the snowflakes can't handle it. But then when the snowflakes actually say something, you clutch your damn pearls and act like you are the victim.
We are the victims. In case you haven't noticed, young lady, we are at war with the...
Mercury reaches over the table and volleys a fist into Mars as hard as they can.
Then consider this a parting shot, you fucking pig. I know exactly who you are. Tell the human trafficking alpha male, the mold-addled face of the turfs, the politicians hiding behind anti-woke meme accounts who want us to either be pussies that say nothing or crazy radicalists who overreact when our deaths are fodder for more jokes. Tell it to the people who with one single tweet can send a queer person to their grave. Meanwhile, incalculable brain-rotted influencers broadcast their commentary and reactions to their equally brain-rotted audiences who regurgitate them like little mascots to seem cool. All because they're afraid of their classmate putting on a fucking dress!
Mercury leans over and grabs Mars by the collar, masks almost bumping. Around them, a heavy booming begins to rise, the murky waters beginning to rush with activity.
One patriot, one devotee. I can ruin your entire being. Wouldn't take much to find your info, your dead name. Broadcast that from a harmless little throwaway account. Maybe some famous author picks it up. Maybe an influencer. Who knows who it might get back to that has a grudge for creatures like you. Might even be one among your own. A beast among beasts.
Mercury hits Mars again, this time in the stomach as they wheeze. Mercury starts kicking as the room pulsates in time with each violent kick. Something is wrong.
Fuck you! Tell that to all your gender inquisition friends who ask children to see their genitals to prove that they are who they say they are. To the grown-ass adults who make them feel unsafe for entering any bathroom. Who mercilessly hound them and pervert their entire existence. We know damn well what you're doing. Moving the goalposts bit by fucking bit until we're pushed to the precipice. Hide or convert or die. You want to see a beast? I'll show you a goddamn beast!
Neptune runs over and grabs Mercury from behind before they can stomp on Mars's head.
Stop! That's enough! You think you're gonna make your point clear by killing him? That anarchic violence is the only way?
Revolution is the only way forward, Neptune! We do not get anywhere without radical change. What are you, a centrist?
I am not murdering this man without a fair contest. People must be held accountable and given the opportunity to reflect and change. Even scum like him. You kill him, you have become his narrative of what he perceives you to be. Do you speak for every person in the community? Would they want you to wake up tomorrow in even greater fear because of your actions?
No, of course not.
Then sit down and let the game play out.
Guess what, you evil cunt? I will die before I change who I am. And if they dig me a grave, I'll make sure you're buried along with me. Marsha P. Johnson once said, "My body was a bridge for you to cross. My body, on the other hand, is the wall you'll never scale, nor the one you can break through."
Mercury spits on Mars before storming back over to take their seat. Mars gets up and nurses their stomach.
Whenever you are, God will judge you when you die. Of that you can be assured.
Man, fuck your God. This is a place of freedom, not Christian nationalism.
From now, we're coming. Like a cicada, we're waking up and beginning to rise.
If you two are quite finished, I wish to ask a question before our break is over. Do we know for certain that famine or freedom aren't just our own demise? We have no reason to believe this game will set us free. Or that it will play fairly. We've seen it can be violent, and Feast is very much what it says it is. But something in me is concerned. This is a game we will lose.
If it is a chance to lay our sins bare, perhaps at best we lose. We have lived a long time with ours. We would relish the chance to see them excised.
Venus and Saturn hold hands and affirm their commitment.
To hear you say those words, to actually hear you recognize your own failures, you really have changed, haven't you?
We've tried. It has not been easy.
But any effort is worth it if it means we can be reunited.
All who wish to get to heaven must first go through hell.
The group looked at Jupiter, who points to the screen, showcasing the quote and the end of the coffee break.
Indeed. You all have your sins, your great regrets, and your specters in the closets. It's time to let them out, to consume your flesh, and for those at home watching with glee at your very downfall, to live with the fear they themselves won't one day end up in these seats. Human nature is so fascinating, isn't it? We are so easily corrupted by the powers we are given or that we take. Very rarely are we ever infallible, held to a standard by those who see us as more than we are. Strangers desperate for companionship, projecting their loves onto us like a specter haunting every room. Of course, some sins are not to be forgiven, but others? Well, the recovery of failure is not as delectable a tea as the downfall, is it? No, that is what brings everyone together on Shark Tank. The idea that you watch people fail and relish that it's not you. After all, you're safe behind that computer screen, aren't you?
The group shifts uncomfortably as Chronos chuckles before turning his attention back to the group.
Things are heating up, so it's time to give the people what they want. Suffering.
The lights shift, and for a split second, you could almost see the glint of a camera in the distance before it is once again engulfed by the shapes of the deep sea. This time, a deep crimson is accompanied by bright orange hues rising from the bottom, bubbling and frothing as if near a volcanic rock. No, it's different. As the cards pop out, the group realize why.
Let us begin. Round 4. Circles of Hell. Earth picks greed. A man who had everything one could wish for within his station. Love, security, knowledge, and respect. But it wasn't enough, for he wanted more than he was permitted. Isn't that always the way, though? A life yearning for that which we cannot have could be argued as a life of pursuance and therefore meaning beyond meaning. Love is the ultimate driver of passion, but it can also be its absolute ruin. Could this be lust too? Well, perhaps, but it is the greed of wanting more that stains your name. 4 out of 10. Neptune picks wrath. Rage isn't a defining word for what you feel on a near constant basis. Apoplectic may be a more apt term, but maybe there's not even a word in the human vocabulary to rival your emotions. What else could a human being crushed to the cells that make up who they are, only to be reformed anew, feel? At every turn you have been wronged, manipulated, lied to, and used. Wrath is, of course, intoxicating. It keeps your belly full and renders you drunk with its power. But it will turn on you too, given enough time. 7 out of 10. Jupiter picks envy. Of course you have envy. What else could you be? Your story is yet to be told, so I will not spoil it here and ruin your grand entrance. But rest assured, Upon reflection by all who know you past, present, and future, this will not be a surprise. It is the spear of Longinus with which you once wielded that will pierce your puce heart and spill its contents. Your ending is not yet written, but I doubt it will be a happy one, because I don't know if you're capable of contentment. 6 out of 10. Mercury picks Betrayal, Impietas, the lowest circle of the Abrahamic hell, yet it is shared universally amongst all beliefs and cultures that betrayers are scum. For you have to turn on your own people, your own kind, and sell out anyone from your colleagues to your kin in order to get what you want. Not the half-hearted betrayal of one under duress either. No, this is a frozen wasteland reserved for those with hearts that bear the same material as its surroundings. You sit atop a pile of bodies that look just like your own, barely stuttering a breath as they take their last. Your retribution will be brutal. 9 out of 10. Saturn and Venus pick Pride. You, like all caregivers before you, sought to ensure your guidance was somehow better than the way you were brought into this world and educated. However, you fell into the same pit all do when undertaking this path of folly. You gave birth to an all-new brand of monster. Like Victor Frankenstein and his electrical machinations, you play creator and destroyer all in the span of a generation. You devoured your firstborn, only to spare the rod for the latter spawn. But it was too late to change, and you know it. You will never undo the mistakes you made. You set this all in motion, and you must watch the world burn for it. 3 out of 10. Pluto picks Sloth. How long do you plan on sitting at the edge of infinity and bearing witness to the atrocities committed? Do you intend to hide away in the cold interior of these dead buildings until you can join them inanimately? The world will not stop for you. It will not bend its knee to you, and it will not change for you. You must adapt to it while not losing yourself. And yet, you completely lack the constitution to do even the decent thing and tell the truth now it's staring you in the face. It is not your actions that have brought you here, but your inactions. You suffer by doing nothing. 5 out of 10. Mars. Gluttony. You have so much ambition that if it were a commodity, you'd be rich in that too. Like all men of your upbringing, generation, and station, you are not happy with what you have. But unlike envy, you're more than willing and capable of getting what you want. Contentment isn't the issue. It is simply a desire for more. But even in your case, it's unique. You don't just want more power, more authority, more respect. No, you want more death. More bodies of those types piling up in unmarked graves. More reports of people going missing. More undesirables being lampooned across all forms of social communication. More until none are left. The goalposts will keep moving until they're so inexorably far apart that they cannot be met. And when they are gone, your greedy eye will turn to the others in that community, the ones who played ally, until only your people remain. But it will never be enough blood. Not until there's just 2 left, ready to eat each other for final supremacy, and an ocean of flesh and tears surrounding you. 1 out of 10. That concludes round 4. The winner is Mercury with Betrayal, and the loser is Mars with Gluttony. You have 3 minutes for your confession. Time starts now.
Lights, shapes, the throbbing of a dwindling audience within, and an unknowable one without. A pin could drop as the countdown begins.
I will not stand for this. You hear me? I am the highest authority in Dondella. I will be heard.
You're not standing, you're sitting. You're not the highest authority because you're here. You are being heard because it's your confession. Less than 3 minutes to determine your fate. So let's go. Clock's ticking. Don't you want to make Dondella great again?
I will not be mocked by a child, by a degenerate, by people like you.
Oh, I'm not mocking you any more than you and your little talking heads do to everyone else you dislike. What's the matter, Snowflake? Is it just cringe when someone hurts your little feelings, but super cool when you do it?
How dare you? You think you got the upper hand here, in this pathetic little game? Mark my words, when I get out of this, I will.
You know this isn't a game. You know you won't get out unless I deem it so. You've wasted 30 seconds trading barbs with me, and it's not influenced my decision at all.
Mars drops to his knees and begins praying, his voice almost wailing as he does so.
Oh, Holy Lord in heaven, my Savior, Jesus Christ, please protect me and grant me amnesty for the things I have done. Forgive these people, for they know not the evils they commit against you. Please, Jesus, spare your loyal soldier and grant me eternity at your side.
I think he's leaving you on red. This really how you want to spend your last 2 minutes? Confession is a natural part of your faith. I'd not recommend going to meet your savior with a guilty conscience. But what do I know? I'm just a heretic.
Mercury puts their feet up on the desk and leans back. Mars keeps reciting his prayer until the clock ticks past the 90-second mark. He grows silent.
He's not coming. This is it, isn't it? I'm about to meet the great beyond. My work not nearly finished.
Seems that way. But from what I know, that won't curry you much favor with him if you go with all that baggage. Confess.
Mars's hands, shaking and still clasped in prayer, fall to his side as he gets up, head bowed and hands rapidly turning into fists.
I confess. I funded a special group of like-minded individuals to uproot problem elements within our beautiful, God-fearing town and eradicate them. We masqueraded it as a health clinic, a way to help those struggling with maladies of all kinds, but we employed people who knew a thing or two about conversion, suggestive cognition, and returning people to the way society expects them to be. Someone in our R&D department came up with the Cicada Chamber program, and so it became a part of our therapeutic services, eventually forming the slogan underneath the title, The Inner Sanctum.
60 seconds. The reaction around the table was that of horror, anger, and disgust. The shapes swam closer to Mars.
I'd do it again. I'd send everybody in those chambers if they failed to change to the way God made them. Send them right back to his throne for divine judgment if we were unable to do his bidding down here. The moment they went into the facility, they were no longer people to me. I love the Antlion's work, sloppy and medieval though it may be, for he is carrying out our will. And I'd see him do it for as long as he sees fit. He is a hero to this nation.
30 seconds.
Call me what you like. The Lord will vindicate my work. I even ensured the latest missing person was named appropriately on the news. Not that stupid, made-up shit you people do to yourselves. No, the genuine article.
Before Mars could say another word, Mercury slammed the feast button, and the air in the room turned foul. As if rotten meat had been strewn about the room, Mars's mask cracked and broke away to reveal the face of Dondella's governor, Leonardo Di Stefano, a radical reformist politician who platformed on a campaign of more religion, more family values, and a populist policy of change. Suspicions ran rife that he bought his votes, but it could not be proven. It would later be revealed that he had a prior criminal record for coercion and sexual assault within his parish. But naturally, it had been expunged.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not wander.
This time, the shadows dove in to take pieces of him. Bit by bit, they tore him away until his torso was mangled, his eyes wide and full of fear.
You've already strayed too far. Now go to the abyss.
Mars is devoured by the darkness, his blood spraying the seat and the table as small chunks of his flesh are spat out.
With that unpleasantness done, we must move forward. Time waits for no man. We've seen your sins, we've seen calamities, and as we weed out the numbers, we get to those things in Sturgeon that lurk around every corner. The unmentionables nobody likes to think about. Round 5, Mythical Monsters. Venus and Saturn pick, the Sleeping Giant. You've known of this beast, the last giant under the mountain, for some time. In fact, you've known about it your whole lives and never said a damn thing to anyone. Inherited knowledge, a family secret, a taboo, a skeleton so deep in the closet it may as well be in the catacombs that run under the property. This is from an ancient land, one that worships the last giant in the hopes it never wakes back up. They keep it placated with dreams of never-weres, must-nots, and maybes. This largely hidden tribe has rituals that make your skin crawl with familiarity. Why is that? The sleeping giant will awaken again eventually, and it will shake your manor when it does. 5 out of 10. Jupiter picks the Shapeshifter. Ah, yes, this one. Call it by many names, it rings true across humanity. Some we won't utter here, but Fleshgate seems to be apropos. Why are we so scared of the things that look like us, but not quite? When we were huddled around open fires and the dark was only kept at bay by its meager flames, what else sat with us? We know it wasn't other tribes, natural predators or prey, but the cave paintings suggest it was something else. The unseen threat. It can almost perfectly mimic us. Almost. Maybe you'll be the one to snuff out the threat. Or will your last words be played back to you as a macabre epitaph? 7 out of 10. Earth, the Great Spine. It lays deep within the earth and bears the weight of those on its curved back. Always building, always fighting, always digging. Still, it persists and it bears the brunt of the weight, for that is its purpose. One day, that spine may snap and the world shall fall. Or maybe, just maybe, the creature attached to the spine shall stretch to its true height and emerge. Time will tell, and time is rarely ever patient. 9 out of 10. Neptune picks the Chimera. Long has it been rumored that there exists a creature that can change itself, adapt and learn through each struggle it encounters. A hand of one beast, a face of another. It has been speculated to be an amalgamation of animals. But what if it was something more? What if it were a new kind of life form? One that took the secrets of the old and combined them with the present? A human that could do more. Terrifying or benevolent? Well, that remains to be seen. You've got the whole world in your hands. 8 out of 10. Pluto picks Nuldus. They are dead. They have been discovered. They are no longer mythical. 0 out of 10. Mercury picks the Sphinx, the legendary beast that guards the ancient tombs and treasures. It befuddles the traveler with riddles, and if it fails to answer them, it will devour them whole. So I ask you, traveler, what is the secret of the Shark Tank? 6 out of 10. Round 5 has concluded. The winner is Earth with the Chimera, and the loser is Pluto with Nuldus. 3 minutes on the clock for your confession.
Red, beasts in the shadows, tension. It begins again.
Forgive me. You, mother, father, my siblings. Forgive me.
You never needed my forgiveness. Only my understanding and my love. You have both in spades, my lad. Go ahead.
I will meet my end with grace and dignity. I confess to not doing my due diligence. No, for once I will not hide behind flowery words. I failed as a brother. I failed as a person. I sat away locked in my room, then the study, then the graveyard, reading, immersing myself in worlds far kinder than this one because I couldn't face the changes in my house and out there. People dying by the thousands for wanting to exist in one place freely where another says they cannot. People dying for who they wish to love. People dying for the right to better their education or pray to who they believe in or lack thereof. So much hatred and broadcast to us at a near constant pace. It is maddening. This is not a world designed to live and experience in without ridicule and scorn. It is meant to be trudged through with reckless abandon, a stiff upper lip when the going gets tough, and resigned frustration when it gets worse. Small happinesses are permitted along the way. Little treats are all we get because we can afford nothing more. We float in a miasma of nostalgia because we have nothing but our past to look for comfort. I simply took it to an extreme level, it seems.
Pluto's hands shake. 2 minutes.
I'm sorry. I just wish this to be known before I'm gone. I deserve nothing but feast, and I will accept that. In fact, I already confessed to my sins. You see, I wrote them in my journal for anyone to find should they make it into the tomb that I was hiding in. I confess to knowing full well of my siblings' unique abilities, to forsaking my twin in their plight and pretending I knew nothing of their special nature. Though I had my suspicions of who took them, I did not say that either. Partly out of resentment for our parents for putting them in that position, partly out of a desire to be left alone. Selfish all the same. I confess to helping Gale with his sick experiments in the graveyard, though I swear on my very soul I did not know what he was doing with the bodies, nor who lay in them. I would sooner have put myself in the ground than take part had I known.
I know you would have, son. I answered your call that final night. Don't you remember?
Pluto looked at Earth, tilting their head to the side.
I only called to inquire about mother and father. You said there had been a fire.
No, son. You called to tell me you committed a horrific sin. The worst kind of sin imaginable. One against your own blood. You were crying. You said you didn't deserve to live. I told you that that wasn't true. That we could work things out. But before I could speak further, you told me you were dead already, and the line went dead. That was some time ago.
Oh gods, I can't remember. Why can't I remember?
There is a silence in the room as the clock continues to count down. 60 seconds.
Are you really going to say nothing? 2 of your children are about to be removed from this plane of existence, and you won't even acknowledge them. You may have changed, but you are still the same heartless beasts I began serving so long ago.
Venus and Saturn shift in their seats as Pluto looks straight ahead at Earth.
What is there to say? I can't fix this. I can't make it better. So what would be the point?
I do not want them or need them. My only parental figure was you, and that was all I ever needed. I am responsible for my siblings' kidnapping, imprisonment, and the horrors they went through in that coffin. I'm no different to the other monsters we've sent to the abyss. If you ever cared for me, you know you must do what is right.
60 seconds.
If you are among us, dearest sibling, Lux, know that I love you, I see you, and I will forever regret my decisions that put you here in the pit of the abyss with us. While I go to stranger tides, I will never stop looking for a way to get back to you. You are the bravest and strangest of us all, but strange is by far the best thing about any of us.
Phineas.
Pluto's mask breaks away to reveal the tear-stained face of the once stoic Phineas Gahart, who smiles and nods to Earth.
I am ready. I am content.
Earth looks around the room first, and with trembling hands, makes his choice. Freedom.
Your story does not end here, son. There's still more reading for you to do. Maybe start with that old story I told you about the last giant under the mountain. No time like the present.
A portal opens up behind Phineas, its destination obscured from us. Perhaps we will learn someday. A wind picks up through the room as the shadows slip away from him and the light turns amber. His chair begins to pull away from the table and he utters one final word before being dragged through and onto the other side.
Father.
I know.
Coffee break.
You spoke out of turn at the end there, Earth.
If I were not a man of my age or constitution, I would smack you where you stand. I may have served you my entire life, but in here, those rules do not bind me. How could you watch your own flesh and blood go without saying anything? How could you be so callous?
I do not take joy in watching what happened happen, but I had no choice. My sins are already too heavy a burden. Bearing weakness now will only make it harder to confess them. You are right. I am callous, not by choice, but by circumstance.
Seems more like cowardice to me, but I don't know you from Adam, so whatever.
No, you're right. It is like cowardice. We're learning every day to try and do better, but it's an uphill struggle. I don't know what the right thing to say is, when to say it, or how.
If your sins are to be put on the chopping block, will you own up to them? Will you admit to what you did? To him?
I would confess to any wrongdoings against Phineas and more.
Not just him. Your eldest, too. The firstborn.
Do you speak for him? Is he not among us to speak for himself?
An ugly silence permeates the room for a handful of seconds before Jupiter speaks again.
He is not here. Truth be told, I don't know where he is. None of us do. I speak in his stead, as does Neptune. We only ask that, should your sins be the ones up to confess, you ensure transparency. Absolution is coming for us all.
We will do what needs to be done, if our ticket is called. Lord knows we've sat with the burden long enough, painful though it may be.
You do not know the meaning of the word painful.
The lights dimmed and, for a moment, the group were bathed in total darkness. Not your usual darkness, not the dead of night wake from sleep darkness, nor the one someone may experience during a comatose period. No, this was as if all life and sentience was snuffed out, if but for a moment. An all-encompassing, crushing yet absent darkness, an eclipse of the soul. But as soon as it came, it went, replacing it, the visage of Chronos signaling the coffee break was over.
With that, we move to our next round, one with an intent to widen the scope of human ambition and to signify how utterly small it is in one go. For we may survive calamities from Mother Nature, the monsters in the night both familiar and otherwise, the afterlives we envision or fear for our souls. But there's more out there than we know. So much more. We are but a dust mote, a single-celled organism in the rapidly expanding body of a behemoth, a fractal of a blink that this reality will barely acknowledge. Within this vast, unknowable expanse, we personify forces as beasts, or, better yet, we call them Round 6, Celestial Phenomena. Neptune picks Hoag's Object. What a phenomena this is to behold. Imagine looking upon all of creation and, with what limited knowledge you possess, seeing something that wasn't just new, it was undefinable. It broke the barriers of normalcy, of scientific reasoning, of physics themselves. That is you. An object floating into an arena of strangeness, barely quantifiable. One day, we will figure you out. But until then, you'll be a curiosity we look to for answers. Jupiter picks Supermassive Black Hole. That which all things in the universe both fear and recognize as the great inevitability should they exist long enough within its confines. An end result of something that burns brightly and leaves its husk behind to feast on whatever dares come near. But it is never satisfied. So it grows. It inverts and becomes the ultimate blot upon the skyline and the space which it occupies. It devours until there is nothing left. 10 out of 10. Mercury picks Oumuamua. Studies say that this unique shape does not follow the conventions of any known asteroid, meteorite, or naturally built structure floating through space at an exorbitant pace. Yet, here you are. You even entered our solar system and passed close enough to be noticed, far enough to not cause any damage. How interesting. Almost as if there's more to you that meets the eye. 4 out of 10. Earth picks Pillars of Creation. Every time you are rendered by artists, it seems to fail to capture the true beauty of what you are. Perhaps that is by design. I wonder what humans of the 21st century would think if they were able to view you in your glory at a cursory glance. Would we scroll on within a few seconds the way we do most things? Would it even stir the deadened dopamine receptors within us to know that there was pure beauty beyond our borders? From you, all things spread, the best and worst of us. When you look upon us, are you proud or are you fearful? 8 out of 10. Saturn and Venus pick Dark Matter. You are nothing. You are an anti-material. You haunt every facet of reality, yet you are never seen. We know you exist by the energy you bring to anything you touch. A thing we can never be rid of. 1 out of 10. The rounds come faster and faster. This concludes with Jupiter winning once again with Supermassive Black Hole, and Saturn and Venus losing with Dark Matter. Confession has once again descended upon the Shark Tank. Begin!
So it goes. The clock starts its grisly countdown and the remaining contestants shift, squirm, and struggle. Cerulean serenity gives way to an infection of crimson. It is time. 3 minutes.
Very well. Since Lucinda was here, I can only assume at least one other member of our family may be sat among us. So I will direct this to you.
I just want to hear you say it. I want to hear you admit to all of us what you did, why you did it, and how you're sorry. I want them to know what monster hides underneath human skin and masquerade as their family.
That's not fair. It was a different time. We tried to learn and grow, to understand as the world changed around us.
Jupiter slams a fist down onto the table, their bodies shaking with rage as they push the pain-racked screech out of their throat.
I want to hear you fucking say it! Say he was your Judas, your viper in the trees, your abomination you had to hide away from the world. Say it!
Is this what B would want? Would he wish for you to play judge, jury, and executioner of his parent? If you were close to him, surely you would understand. Are they callous? Yes, absolutely. But you cannot condemn them for.
When I want your opinion, I will ask for it. Bennett is in a sea of confusion, unable to make decisions for himself or even represent his own pain properly. If you were capable of that, he would be here. Instead, it is left to myself and Neptune to pick up the broken pieces while he runs from his problems and whatever threats he thinks are over his shoulder. He cannot help anyone until he helps himself. So, I ask you again, Patriarch and Matriarch of the Gahart family, speak.
Earth shifts in his seat as Saturn puts a hand on Venus's shoulder. 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
When our firstborn came into the world, we were a family of status. We were raised in such a way that a certain code of ethics and a culture of religion came along for the ride. Behave in this way, do these things, never those things, understand the house rules and that of the holy book, so on. All those things are fine, but not to be adhered to in a militant manner. Of course, we didn't know that then. We were so young, had an image to uphold, and the code was the code. My father, Oliver, wasn't always there. When he was away, it was left to my mother and her lover to instill those values into me. Of course, Father tried to open my mind to more fair ways of thinking upon his return, but I was bitter and stuck in my ways.
I never wanted a relationship. Never wanted children. But our marriage was an agreement between two powerful families, and I was told what I needed to do, who I needed to love. There was no option forward but passivity. I was 19 years old, and I had met your father just once, 3 months prior. I did as instructed, but resentment grew between us when I could not give him what he wanted. Both being young, he didn't understand or want to. The word asexual wasn't a well-utilized term then, and it would not have been tolerated had it been so.
2 minutes. The shapes danced. Anticipation grew.
I was a terrible husband. I spent more and more time away from the house, partied and cheated. I met my future mistress one night out, a person who seemed to dance in an almost hypnotic pattern, captivating me with barely a word. Noelle de Leon. She took my heart on the first affair and was pregnant by the third. Of course, the first child of the Gerard family could not be an illegitimate one, born from a fling. So, after some discussion, arrangements were made. Noelle sold the baby to us and was gently instructed to move out of Dondella, far from Sturgeon. It broke my heart, but it had to be done. 14 months later, our second eldest was born. We tried in our own foolish way to raise them, but with Bennett's proclivities and Phineas's eccentricities, we left it up to the house staff to educate them.
I tried to be a doting mother. Truly, I did. But I felt such little connection to Bennett, the bastard spawn of my husband's infidelity, and a vast gulf between myself and the world Phineas inhabited, that I often found myself adrift, hating myself for not wanting to be closer, and yet unable to find a path there. Instead, a numbing absence of emotion overtook me, and I knew I was losing them every day. As they grew, so did Bennett's proclivities for art. A truly talented boy. We saw so much potential to elevate the family name, but We were incapable of patience or empathy, and so when Bennett fell in love, we saw it as a distraction and would not tolerate it. We took steps to keep them apart and isolated Bennett as we had Phineas. It left scars on them both in different ways. Where Phineas sank further into himself, Bennett lashed out.
60 seconds. The tension was palpable. The air grew hot and steam rose from the shapes around the group.
After a decade of pain, trials, and tribulations, with no small intervention from Oliver, my father, he began making conscious efforts to change, even in small ways. And then the twins were born. We saw it as a chance to change our ways as parents, as people. We sought to bring them up more liberally, to try and engage more. As a result, they were happier, well-rounded and adjusted. All sins come back to haunt us, and those manifested in what happened.
We reverted to our old selves the night of the disappearance. Now I see a family connected by blood and very little else. I cannot help it, and I know an apology without sincerity would only make things worse. We came here knowing full well what would happen to us. We accept it. We deserve it.
One thing that is indisputable, we did the best we could. We still love our children in our own way. Whatever happens, happens. We set this all in motion. We see it to its logical conclusion. That is our confession.
30 seconds. They hold hands and stare Jupiter down, who is shaking as he turns to Neptune, sharing a long stare before they shake their head. 20 seconds passes before Jupiter's shaking subsides. He takes in a breath and hits famine.
Killing you would put a foul taste in my mouth and likely ensure Bennett never speaks to me again. I won't do that to him. Go. Live with the damage you created and spend the rest of your miserable lives wishing you could make it right, knowing you can't. Your children will grow older and stay distant. You will never know their love, and that is your own doing, not theirs.
The portal opens up behind Saturn and Venus, whose masks begin to break away to reveal the faces of Magnus and Desiree Gahart, the parents of the Gahart children. They look tired. Very, very tired.
You must care for Bennett very much. Are you close?
More than you could ever know.
Then pass on a message for us. Whatever he is and whatever he does, we accept him, and he will always be our son. We all have our failures. We still love him.
With that, the two are guided to the portal, a facsimile of the Gahart family estate, before it closes. The deep azure blue returns, and Chronos appears again.
We're getting close now, folks. So very, very close. Agonizingly so. What better way to commemorate the end than to have a round dedicated to it? For what else is there to ponder but the end of all things? Long after this ball of rock is gone, the universe persists. But all things end. All is finite. In this round, we will reverse the fortunes. The smallest number wins. Memento Mori. Round 7. The end. Neptune picks the great devouring of the universe. Similar to the black hole theorem, only on a much, much grander scale. All things will fall into the great maw, the unflinching jaws, the schism itself. Nothing will escape it, not even light. Only darkness awaits you. You will be left screaming into the void, and it will not answer. 9 out of 10. Jupiter picks Kugelblitz, Event Horizon. All the energy concentrated and honed to a fine point. Heat, light, and radiation coming together to form a brilliant event horizon. A visage of something so beautiful and intimidating, but nothing more than a prelude to the end. After all, art begets destruction. Most beautiful things have something horrifying within them or surrounding them, and you are no different. Those hands that could make beauty only invite destruction. Much like the Blitz, you will destroy everything around you, come hell or high water. 6 out of 10. Mercury picks Nuclear Hellfire or Asteroid. Man will always be the biggest scourge of his own kind's existence, a creature gifted with unrivaled intellect and using it to find new and creative ways to implement destruction of all forms of life on an unimaginable scale. To have that power for offense or defense matters not when it is wielded by those who see others as competition, and lesser, othering them to the point that the trigger finger on the launch codes gets far too itchy. Should we escape the horrors of nuclear winter, may a great calamity from the heavens bring with it a new extinction event, for we are already enacting the 6th mass extinction in the Holocene. Let it end for us with the 7th. Shame on us and on you for what we have done. 5 out of 10. Earth picks Old Age and Time itself. Time, the most patient of all killers. It waits as the most stalwart creatures and spectral objects crumble to dust. Even as it too falls onto its own sword of Damocles, it does so with a smile. Time comes for us all. Memento Mori. 10 out of 10. And with that, we see a true reversal of roles. Our winner is Mercury with Nuclear Hellfire, and our loser, Earth, with Time. How unfortunate. Still, we move to the confessional stage.
We dance once more in the dreaded red light. 3 minutes.
I knew many people at this table. You are not one of them. But I will confess, all the same, for those still listening, I only ask you ensure a message gets passed on to one particular member of the family, should any of you make it out of here. I have served the Gerhardt family for over 40 years. I watched that house flourish and thrive with each generation, and was proud to be their steward, their ward, and their guide where I could. But I am no different to the other confessionals we have heard here. I failed and I deserve to be part of this contest. My card of sin was correct. I did want more than I was permitted. I fell hopelessly in love with the last patriarch of the family, Oliver. A kind, considerate, and adventurous man I admired more than words. I would do anything for him, then as much as I would now. Alas,
takes a deep breath.
He did not return my affections, but he did understand them and sought to try and alleviate my heartbreak with true friendship. When he left on his last expedition, the one from which he would not return, he made me promise to look after the latest children of the Gerhardt family and guide them where their parents could not. How could I say no?
But your guidance failed, didn't it?
Regrettably, it was not enough. I did my best to be their confidant, to ensure they felt safe no matter the situation. But inevitably, I failed to see the oncoming storm. The burden falls on my shoulders for how things turned out, just as much as it does Magnus and Desiree. I feel like a failed parent just as much as they do. I confess that my inaction and inability to be the parent they needed led to this disaster. I accept the consequences.
Earth sits silent for the remainder of the confession as Mercury composes themselves before replying.
And what message am I to pass on before I render judgment?
Tell Lux that Oliver is within the mountain with the last giant, and that if they trust themselves, it will all work out. To remember, while there may only be 3 bees in all of Europe, they can still find a colony. They can still fly. They can still be free. Tell them I love them, and I will see them again. I believe in them.
20 seconds. The bloodlust is at a fever pitch despite the maudlin tone, as if the things unseen are baying for blood, begging Mercury to indulge them. Yet, they don't. Their hand hits freedom, and Earth's confused face is revealed as the mask cracks away to reveal that of Rodney Saunders, butler for the Gahart family.
Why?
Because you're one of those same bees, and I will not be the one to stop you flying. Tell Lux the message yourself, one day.
The portal opens up. An unfamiliar garden appears as Saunders is led to it. He turns one last time to address Mercury before the portal closes.
I hope you pay close attention to your card.
The atmosphere maintained its intensity as the final round approached. The pulsating increased and the shapes rushed about the room as if ravenous. It all reached a peak state of height before dissipating in one go. The bright lights, the ravenous shapes, the almost game show style effects died at once. Now, there was a single spotlight hanging over the table, still strewn with the viscera of former competitors, swinging from side to side and casting unsettling shadows over the 3 remaining participants. Chronos reappeared, haggard and desiccated, his hologram glitching as his body twitched. With a shaking hand, he pointed to the group and rattled out a single word, ushering in the round. Death. No light changes, no sounds, no moving shapes. Absolute silence greets the players as the cards are manifested from the abyss. A smoky complexion adorning the edges of their bezel. Mechanically, purposefully, they take their cards as our little game comes to a close.
Final round. Ways to die. Neptune. Götterdämmerung. Twilight of the Gods. Legends speak of the ruin you will wreak across space, time, and reality. Long have you been prophesied to careen from the heavens themselves and smash into the earth, uprooting trees, houses, and mountains. You will awaken the last giant under the mountain, and while invoking the name of the formless god, bring the calamity upon our world just as Angleron once experienced in that kingdom of forgotten rulers and strange machinations. From you, new life will spring forth, but you will not be there to see it. Jupiter, the Rapture, you have waited for this day. They told you in the white room that smelled of sulfur you would one day stand hand in hand with your protege and watch this world tear itself apart like a rat king. Death will come for you in the absence of divine light by the ones you love most. Your ending will be the longest goodbye. 6 out of 10. Mercury. Did you figure it out yet? All these people seemingly intertwined and interconnected amid their disdain, their love, and their ideals. But where did you ever fit in with them? Only you know the answer to that. But did you figure out the riddle of the Sphinx? What is the secret of the Shark Tank? It is to be devoured. 3 out of 10. So the final round is completed and the curtain is almost ready to fall. It has been a pleasure being your manifested host for this evening. Our loser is Mercury. Our joint winners are Jupiter and Neptune. For in the Shark Tank's uterus, 2 pups can survive. Mercury, make your confession. The world is watching.
The timer starts up. Small circular ring lights pop up around the formless void, and a sea of cameras sit behind them, each one focusing and blinking. The shapes were the various lenses popping in and out, or so it seems. 3 minutes. Mercury is shaking like a leaf.
It's a live stream. All of this time, it's been streamed on the internet? To who? To where? Is this some dark web shit? Or are we just playthings for some fucking streamers to sit and react to? As we're systematically murdered?
Silence. The other 2 don't speak or move. There is a low hum in the room.
Answer me! Are we just eating each other for fun? For their sick amusement? To prove a fucking point? Are we really debasing ourselves to further fuel the notion that human beings can't go 24 hours without consuming content that they know is bad for them? That fucking rage bait is the greatest driver of engagement and profit? That morally good people get their kicks from attaching their happiness to the downfall of their icons? Because what? Now they're miserable too? What the fuck are we?
We are sharks, and we're waiting for your confession. All of the above is opinion-based. You cannot reduce humanity, its nuances, its complexities, and its prejudices down to a single perspective, and to do so is pointless. Every word you speak, every idea uttered, will inevitably infuriate, offend, and outrage someone. 6 people sit in an elevator, they will have 9 opinions. There will always be someone consuming information like a gluttonous mass without thought or feeling. Someone who meticulously combs every facet to be the cleverest person in the room for a fraction of a second because they require validation. Some silence unless their particular brand of information becomes viable. Endless variations of endless people, and it's all so boring.
Confess, Mercury. That is why we're here.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. Mercury puts their head in their hands.
I have nothing to confess.
Liar. You will not lie to me a second time. Don't you dare do that after what we went through.
I never intended.
Confess. Now.
90 seconds. The boom increases.
I was admitted to the inner sanctum a while ago. You can guess the reason. Rich family didn't want to see their daughter all messed up in the head over what gender she is or isn't, and who she likes or doesn't. They did horrible things to me. Unspeakable. I spent weeks begging for death. Told if I didn't accept their doctrine, I'd go to the cicada room. And I did not want to go there. I knew what happened if I went in. I wouldn't come back out. The sheer volume of people who never came out.
60 seconds. The cameras zoom in. The boom is beginning to shake the environment.
One day, someone comes to my cell. I don't see their full face, but I see the smile. It's that of a kid who's ready to play with a new toy. Almost innocent, but dripping with the sadism of a twisted adult. I was told I had a choice. Go to the cicada room, or do some recon work for the sanctum. In exchange, I'd be let out and could go home. I'd have to follow some troubled case and report back everything they did. But I was only thinking of myself, and I agreed if it meant that I could survive.
30 seconds. A fever pitch. Mercury's mask begins to crack.
Shark Tank. We all eat each other to survive. I deserve this, don't I? I confess to abusing your trust and ensuring you were always going to end up here, in this trap, in the clutches of the very monsters you sought to escape from and take down.
20 seconds. Neptune looks to Jupiter, who tilts his head.
I want to settle this myself. No cameras, no voyeurism, no outside influence. Let me be what you trained me for.
You don't want them to see. Isn't that part of why Chronos brought us here?
He gestures to the cameras around them. Neptune shakes their head.
They've had their fill, and so have you. Now let me have my revenge.
Jupiter considers them for a moment before sighing and getting up, placing a hand on their shoulder before walking to the other side, where a portal to a wooded area and a big-top carnival can be seen in the distance.
Very well. Follow me after you have done. I'm going to give Bennett his come-to-Jesus moment. It is long overdue.
Unbeknownst to Neptune or Mercury, Jupiter pulls their phone out of their pocket and spies the stream that had been set up. It was extremely active. Many commenters expressing their sick delight for the events, comment after comment praising the confessions of the victims, sharing solidarity with their views from behind a mask of anonymity, and donating large amounts of money to the inner sanctum. A perverse smile rocks across his face as Jupiter's mask crumbles away to reveal Gale, who saunters through the portal to his next victim. The timer is over. The game is over. The cameras shut down in one swoop and only the swinging light remains again. Mercury's mask cracks as the face of Asani Walker breaks through, tears in their eyes and a distinct croak in their throat, the kind from anxiety and heartbreak.
So, what happens now? We fight, hug it out, and continue on with the mission?
Neptune does not respond. They sit there, arms folded, as their own mask begins cracking.
Lux, please, I started as a spy, but when we met, when I got to know you, when we fought through that hellish null realm, I saw what you were doing, how hard you fought. I saw where you came from, and I loved your passion. I began to love you. I swear, I would take it all back if I could, but I can't. I can only move forward.
Did you know when he was going to take me? Did you know when he was going to put me in that coffin? When he was going to bury me in the ground? Did you watch as the coffin filled up and I drowned? Did you know what would happen to me in the mortuary?
Silence. Asani's face grows pale. A cold sweat runs down their brow and catches on the piercings, dropping to the table as they stare downwards. The lights keep swinging. Neptune's mask keeps cracking. Something undulates beneath it.
Did you help him? Did you help him?
Yes, for a time. But I swear I stopped after we met. I didn't know what he was going to do to you. I promise you.
Look at me, Asani.
The light swings further. Its arc flies up to the ceiling and bathes the two sitting opposite each other in total darkness for just a moment before reorienting and flying in the other direction. As Asani looks in Neptune's direction, they are rooted to the spot. The light swinging above is not attached to any fixture. It is attached to Neptune. The pulsation returns, as does the light change. A soft blue pings in and out with a gentle hum. Rhythmic. Almost pleasant.
You were my final lifeline to this world. My last hope that I could trust someone, but even those who have suffered the same as I have would sell me down the river to suit their own interests. Gale wants me to be a monster. Well, maybe I am a fucking monster. Do you remember the card I got in the deep-sea creatures round, Asani?
Asani cannot speak. They are mesmerized by the glowing light, as if it were a lure. The mask breaks away to show a terrifying visage of trauma, pain, and monstrous rage. Leathery skin, gills, dead eyes, teeth like the bars of a prison cage. The face of a nightmare. Lux Gahat has embraced the role given to them.
I am the anglerfish, and I choose feast.
With a final flash of the luminous lure, the room is black and silent, save for the sound of flesh being ripped and torn to shreds. For on this night, the Shark Tank has 2 winners, and has birthed a brand new monster to lurk in its depths. A happy Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrate, and an apology to those who just had eaten when they clicked play on this transmission. I cannot imagine the food has stayed dormant inside of you for much longer. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of our other transmissions. We are adding them regularly, and we'd love to have you as part of the Dusklight family by subscribing, hitting the bell of bees, and you guessed it, more bees, and leave a comment with stories you'd love for my many-legged runners to find. I want to thank all of our patrons for making this possible. If you want to sign up, it's as little as $1 a month and you get exclusive content, early access videos and stories, updates, and more. But times are tough and we will always be grateful for support no matter what form it comes in. Financial, spiritual, corporeal, maniacal, whatever you want. It really helps us out. Dusklight gives thanks to our Sturgeon faithfuls, Evan Diaz, Marianne Peck, Haley Clark, Foe, Gianni Di Lorena, Casper Noren, Pesky Opossum, Newman Borders, Rat Squatch, Scruffy the Janitor, Eurydice Oryx, Sparta, Elska Joe, Military Medic, Sabrina Alexander, Larry W, PRDL12, Jason Webb, Jimmy Ricardo, 21 Keys, Jack the Lad, Nathan Billings, J.I. Lara, Val Was Taken, Amy W, Dexter, P-Trip3, and Super Abyss. Our Purple Crayon Eaters, Feeny Von Karma, Max, Phi, Amara, Ashabel, Candyman Gloving, Mike, and Alex. Our janitors, Alex Nunez, Arkham Cookie, Amy, Adrian R., Heather Cayley, Scott, Death31, Sabile Eclipse, Joy Flint, Dux, Shane Lewis, and Allie. Our Nightmare Detectives, Fox Clifford, Melanie S., and Deliria. Our Void Walkers, Professor Creepypasta, and Josh Woods. And lastly, our Blackwell family members. Ethan Blackwell, the master of repo and infuriating outer gods. Jackal Blackwell, scourge of gas station sushi outlets. Clue Blackwell, the twisting, shambling horror. Tabitha Blackwell, wearing a muscle tee with Kaio's face as a skull she smashed, declaring herself Spine Queen. And Papa Kaio Blackwell, preparing his greatest weapon, the Spine Lord. We love and fear you, Papa. We thank you humbly for your patronage and look to see you bright and early for Dusklight orientation. Purple crayons and existential dread will be provided. And one last time, listeners, close your eyes and breathe with me. Remember, no matter how bad things are, how cruel people can be, and how heavy your shoulders may feel with the weight of the world bearing down on them, Dusklight will always be here to lift the load and provide you with some respite. Drink some hot cocoa with chocolate sprinkles and fat marshmallows. Have all the Halloween candy you can manage. Watch a video about liminal spaces and cryptid sightings, and sleep on the cool side of the pillow with the window open and the stars twinkling down on you. Start and end each day with kindness in your heart. You matter, You are loved, and every day is another chance. I'll see you again when the sun sets and dusk enters the station.